Chapter 13. Our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting, the soul that rises with us, our life's star, hath had elsewhere its setting, and cometh from afar, not in entire forgetfulness and not in utter nakedness, but trailing clouds of glory do we come from God who is our home. Heaven lies about us in our infancy. William Wordsworth. Despite her success in recalling several past lives, Elizabeth still ached with grief. Intellectually, she had begun to accept the concept of the continuity of the soul and the recurrence of consciousness in subsequent physical bodies. She had experienced the reunion of soul companions along this journey. But memories did not bring her mother back, not physically. She could not hug her and talk to her. She missed her mother dearly. As Elizabeth came into the office for today's session, I decided to try something different, something I had done with varying degrees of success with other patients. As usual, I would help her achieve a state of deep relaxation. I would then guide her in visualizing a beautiful garden, have her walk into the garden, and rest. As she was resting, I would suggest that a visitor was joining her in the garden and that Elizabeth could communicate with this visitor in thoughts, voice, vision, feelings, or in any other way. Everything that Elizabeth experienced after this point would come from her own mind, not from my suggestions. She sank deeply into the familiar leather recliner and quickly entered the tranquil hypnotic state. I counted backward from 10 to 1, deepening her level even more. She imagined herself walking down a spiral staircase. As she reached the bottom of the steps, she visualized the garden in front of her. She walked into the garden and found a place to rest. I told her about the visitor, and we waited. After a short while, she became aware that a beautiful light was approaching her. In the quiet office, Elizabeth began to cry softly. "Why are you crying?" I questioned. "It's my mother. I can see her in the light. She looks so beautiful, so young." Now speaking directly to her mother, she added, "It's so good to see you." Elizabeth was smiling and crying at the same time. "You can talk to her, you can communicate with her," I reminded Elizabeth. I did not say anything more at this point as I didn't want to interfere with the reunion. Elizabeth was not recalling a memory, nor was she re-experiencing some event that had already occurred. This experience was happening now. The meeting with her mother was taking place vividly and emotionally in Elizabeth's mind. That their reunion existed so powerfully in her mind conferred a considerable degree of reality to her experience. The potential to help her heal her grief was now present. We sat quietly for several minutes, the silence sometimes punctuated by small sighs. At times I could see a tear roll down Elizabeth's cheek. She smiled frequently. Finally, she began to speak. "She is gone now," Elizabeth said very calmly. "She had to go, but she will be back." Elizabeth remained deeply relaxed with her eyes still closed as we continued to talk. "Did she communicate with you?" I asked. "Yes, she told me many things. She told me to trust in myself. She said, 'Trust in yourself. I have taught you everything you need to know. What does this mean to you?' That I must believe in my own feelings and not let others influence me all the time. Especially men," she replied emphatically. She said that men have taken advantage of me because I didn't believe in myself enough, and I let them. I gave them too much power, robbing myself at the same time. I must stop doing this. We are all the same, she told me. Souls are not male or female. You are as beautiful and as powerful as any other soul in the universe. Do not forget this, do not become distracted by their physical forms." This is what she said. "Did she tell you anything else?" "Yes, there is more," she answered, but did not elaborate. "What?" I prodded. "That she loves me dearly," Elizabeth added in a delicate way. "That she is fine. She is helping many souls on the other side. She will still always be there for me. There was one more thing." "What is that?" "To be patient. Something will happen very soon, something important. And I must trust in myself." "What will happen?" "I don't know," she answered softly. "But when it does, I will trust myself," she added with a resolve I had never noticed in her before. Sitting in the green room of the Donahue shore, I witnessed a stunningly surrealistic scene. There was Jenny Cockle, a 41-year-old woman from England, sitting with her son, Sonny, age 75, and her daughter, Phyllis, who was 69 years old at the time. Their story is far better and more convincing than Bridie Murphy's, a famous landmark reincarnation case. Ever since her early childhood, Jenny knew that in a recent past life she had died suddenly, leaving her 8 children virtual orphans. She knew detailed facts about their early 20th century lives in rural Ireland. Her name in that life was Mary. Jenny's family hammered her, but there were not enough funds or interest to investigate the child's fantastic stories of a life of crushing poverty and tragedy in Ireland decades ago. Jenny grew up not knowing if her vivid recollections were real or not. Finally, Jenny had the resources to begin her research. She found 5 of the 8 children of Mary Sutton, an Irish woman who died in 1932 from complications after the birth of her 8th child. Mary Sutton's children confirmed many of Jenny's incredibly detailed memories. They seemed convinced that Jenny was indeed Mary, their dead mother. And I was watching their ongoing reunion, there in the green room of the Donahue show. My mind shifted gears and I saw the beginning sequence of the old, Ben Casey, television show. This was a medical show in the late 50s or early 60s. My mother, in her subtle way, encouraged me to watch this program, relentlessly influencing me to choose medicine as my career. The Ben Casey show always began with universal symbols, and the aged neurosurgeon mentor of the young Dr. Ben Casey intoned, man, woman, birth, death, infinity, or something very much like this. Universal mysteries, unanswerable riddles. Sitting in the green room just prior to going on Donahue, as an expert on past life memories, I was getting the answers that had eluded young Ben Casey and all the others. Man, woman. In the course of our lifetimes, we change sexes, religions, and races in order to learn from all sides. We are all in school here. Birth. If we never really die, then we are never really born. We are all immortal, divine, and indestructible. Death is nothing more than walking through a door into another room. We keep returning in order to learn certain lessons, or traits, such as love, forgiveness, understanding, patience, awareness, non-violence. We have to unlearn other traits, such as fear, anger, greed, hatred, pride, ego, which result from old conditioning. Then we can graduate and leave this school. We have all the time in the world to learn and unlearn. We are immortal, we are infinite, we have the nature of God. As I watched Jenny and her aged children, even more came to me. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. The concept of karma is stated virtually word for word in all the great religions. This wisdom is ancient. We are responsible to ourselves, to others, to the community, and to the planet. Propelled by her need to care for and to protect her children, Jenny was pulled back to them once again. We never lose our loved ones. We keep coming back, together and together again. What a powerful reuniting energy love is.